Let's get a look at our Chrysler Jeep Dodge starting pitchers comparison.
Well, both of them pitching very good at this point right here. Only giving up 1 earned run. Traxel, he's edging him out here. Trax with the 5 hits, one of them a big home run. Only 1 walk apiece for both of them and 4 strikeouts. So it's a good job for both guys tonight.
Jeff Francis has really settled down since having to face 7 batters in the first inning, and Traxel pitched out of a jam in the 5th as he held Colorado to just the 1 run. There's Bacco leading off in the Oriole 5th, and Francis misses low with a big curveball. Bacco flied out to center field his first at bat. He'll get the majority of the starts behind the plate now with Ramon Hernandez on the DL for at least the next 15 days. Ramon was hit by a foul tip the other day in Seattle, and that forces him to the disabled list. Well, Paul Bacco, who got 4 at-bats on the entire 10-game road trip, now will be in there pretty much day in and day out. Grounded towards the hole. Helton has it go off the glove, and that'll be a leadoff single. Now, Todd Helton is a good fielder. He has 3 gold gloves, but he couldn't glove that one. And a leadoff hit here in the 5th inning.
The stuntman, another stuntman coming in and doing what he needs to do. He's picking up a big base hit right there to start off an inning, right in front of Brian Roberts. Always a nice thing to do. I think Brian has been one of the Orioles' best hitters with men on base. A guy that you wouldn't expect to be the one guy you want standing up there with the game on the line, but Brian has developed this year, having an unbelievable year, I think. MVP honors of the league. I put him in that category right now.
Ryan 0 for 2 on the day. And there's a strike in the outside corner. Ryan has a modest 3-game hitting streak going, but he's coming off a tremendous road trip. He batted .400 on the just concluded road trip. Orioles trying to add on to their lead here, and there's a strike. 2 quick strikes for Jeff Francis. 4 strikeouts in the game for Francis, 1 walk, and the 1 walk did score in the first inning. That was Jay Payton.
Brian has been a lot of trouble for teams in the American League this year. He's been so good in his first at bats.
Grounded towards the hole, second base, and the force there, and nothing back at first. So 1 out base runner is Brian Roberts. Well, the only thing better than catching an Orioles game is catching a game with a group of friends. So call the O's to learn more about the team's wide range of group options, including pregame picnics or parties, suites, and more. They even offer incentive plans for group organizers. So gather up your company, your church, your group, your Little League team, family, friends, and more, and enjoy a day of baseball here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. For group sales, 888-848-BIRD, or online at Orioles.com. That is a fun way to watch a ball game. And here is Jay Payton. Roberts draws a throw.
We are going to see a nice comparison now with Brian Roberts on first base. This is a running situation in a one-run ball game, and you can just watch Brian when he leads off the bag, how nice and relaxed he is, and nice and easy. And right as he goes, you're going to see a nice little skip. When he gets ready to run against a left-hander or a right-hander, he gets one of the best jumps I've ever seen in the game outside of Ricky Henderson.
Well, he has not been running much as of late because of his sore hamstring, but you see the 19 steals, that is tops in the American League. He's been caught only 4 times. Jay Payton batting with a count of 1-0. Bounce towards the hole. Fielded by Tulowitzki to second base, and the force out. What a play by Tulowitzki, the young shortstop. 2 down.
Boy, that really was an outstanding play. I never would have thought they were going to get a healthy Brian Roberts in a situation. The third baseman with his other, the shortstop backs it up, off balance throw to second base, and then that barely got him. Actually, a good play by the second baseman, who comes off the bag a little bit at the right time, gives the umpire a look that he's out. Matsui doing a really good job there. That looked a lot like Mark Belanger used to make that play effortlessly.
Well, you consider he's going away from the base, has to field it, then turn and throw off balance, and he throws a perfect ball to the second baseman Kaz Matsui. So 2 down. Peyton now at first. Here's Markakis. Ball 1 low.
Kind of unfortunate for Jay because it definitely goes for a base hit if there's not a runner on first base. And Brian, you know, like you say, he's not in a running situation now with the sore hamstring, so he didn't really get as good a jump as he normally gets.
Our Tesco fact: the Orioles with a lead over the past 15 games. They've only been able to win 8 of those. You have a lead here, 2-1. Markakis, a ball and a strike. He's 1 out of 2. He had 10 RBIs on the road trip. Talking to Terry Crowley about Markakis before the game, and Crow is so pleased with his development, and he's well aware of how far ahead Markakis is this year from the same time last year because he's a more experienced hitter and he has learned how to adjust.
You know what I like really too, because I mean Nick doesn't have as good a statistics with runners in scoring position. Basically about 230 a hitter with runners in that position. He's driven in a lot of runners from first base with big hits, doubles and home runs. It's a situation that is more comfortable for him right now, is hitting in this exact position, as he's going to get a good pitch and he will drive this ball.
Right field, there it goes, way back, it is gone! 2-run home run, and the Orioles lead is 4-1.
Boy, Nick, he couldn't have made me sound any better right there than that. He's always looking for a pitch out over the plate, and he gets the perfect pitch in this situation to drive. It's a breaking ball up in the zone, and he drives it out of the ballpark. This is going to be your Chevy drive of the game right here. A breaking ball in the middle of the plate, and he just absolutely crushes this ball. He knows it's gone. Way back in the right field seats, almost up out into the street where Boog Powell sells his roast beef burgers.
So Markakis onto the flag court, his 9th home run. He now has 39 RBIs. And the Orioles extend their lead to 4-1. So Traxel, top half of this inning, limits Colorado to 1 run, strands 2 men on base, and his team comes back for him and adds to a lead. Meantime, 1-1 on Tejada. Hard hit ball towards the hole. There's Tulowitzki. Long throw across. What an arm, and he got him. So Markakis hits it out. His 9th home run on the year. He got all of it, and out it went. We'll head to the 6th. 4-1 Birds. Cross Blue Shield. Well, you see the evening sky. And it's a 4-1 game. Nick Markakis with a 2-run home run, and here's Todd Helton leading off. He hits it towards the gap in right center field. That's going to get down for a base hit, and it bounces up into the bleachers for a leadoff double. So Todd Helton is on. He'll head to second base. His 15th double on the year, and here in the 6th with the Orioles up by 3, a runner in scoring position. Now, Rick, just before the Markakis home run, you mentioned that he was going to get a pitch that he'd be able to drive. Now, sitting up here, I know you're a former catcher. I know you study pitchers. How did you know that a pitch like that was going to come at that moment in that at-bat?
Well, you've kind of get a sixth sense from catching for so long how well certain hitters hit in certain situations. Now, Nick, I just got a feel about him. He's much better hitter when there's not the pressure of driving in from second base. I've seen him get quite a few hits already this year with men at first base, and cycles follow one another. Guy you see like that who hits more comfortably under those situations, and Nick is a guy who's been very patient in that situation, looking for a pitch he can drive. Maybe it's because the first baseman's holding the guy on first base and there's a big hole out there, you know, on the right side of the field. But whatever is that, I can remember thinking back about situations with other hitters in my day that, oh no, I don't want to give him a ball to hit in this situation because he always hits good with either a man on third or a man on first. It's just a sixth sense that you have.
So Garrett Atkins takes ball 2. Atkins has a hit on the night. It was a swinging bunt. Infield hit the third base. He's 27 years old, out of UCLA. Last year he had 198 base hits. It's this one a mile high to right field. Markakis has a play. Helton is tagging at second base, and Helton's going to third. Here's the throw. He is safe as the throw is wide of the bag. So Helton moves up 90 feet. He's there with one down. Well, Todd Helton, now 33 years old, showing he still runs pretty well.
Actually a decent throw by Nick on there. He just took his time, you know, made a long, strong throw to third base. No sense in using the cutoff man in that situation, and not an RBI situation, but really made a pretty good throw off the target just a little bit. Had it been a couple more feet over, he had a pretty good chance of getting Todd Helton.
Traxel will stay from the stretch with the runner at third, one down, and Brad Hopp coming up, the Colorado right fielder. Interleague baseball here at Oriole Park. This is the first of 15 straight games against the National League, and that will close out the interleague play. Orioles took 2 out of 3 in Washington against the Nationals in the 3 games they have played so far. The Nationals will be here for 3 games beginning Tuesday night. Hopp is flied out and struck out. Oh, good rip there, 1-1.
The O's really have an opportunity here, Jimmy, to put together a pretty good winning streak. They played well that last game up in Seattle. Now they get a chance to play Colorado for 3. They get the Nationals for 3. Both teams struggling a little bit to get up the ladder in their own divisions. And with the Orioles actually playing as well as they have, if they can just play well late in these games, they have a real good opportunity of putting together quite a good winning streak here.
Ball and a strike on Hopp. Too tight, 2-1. Well, if you look at the just concluded road trip, if you had said before the team headed out to Kansas City, 3 cities, 2 contenders in the West, plus Kansas City, where you never know what might happen. If you had said 5-5 on the trip, you might have said, well, we'd accept that. 6-4 would be better, 7-3 better still, but 5-5 probably would have been okay. The difference in how you feel about the 5-5, and here's the interleague schedule coming up for San Palazzo, is the fact that after 4 games they were 4-0, and that was the frustrating part about the road trip.
Yeah, they played really, really well against Kansas City. They scored a lot of runs. Everybody contributed. Going up against Anaheim, you kind of suspected that they were going to put up a little more opposition. They did, but the Orioles truly had an opportunity to win at least 3 games in Anaheim, go to Seattle with 6 wins under their belt at that point. It didn't work out. And that's the thing about the Orioles so far this year, is that they get on these little tailspins and they can't seem to get out of that rut of giving games away late. As you know, you and me, we keep track of all of those games in that studio, and we counted it. That was the 14th game that we thought, and that's just between you and me, that we thought the Orioles should have won. And to stop and think that this ball club could be in first place right now by 3 games is almost inconceivable.
2-2 on Brad Hopp. Fastball's high, ball 3, and you saw the updated standings in the division. The Yankees have quietly put together 3 straight wins, so they're back to within 4 of 500. The Orioles are 4 below 500, and the Blue Jays are 3 below and holding down second place, so tightly grouped in the division behind the Red Sox. Traxel is being very careful with Brad Hopp, and this is an exact example of what we talked about, where Traxel does not give in. He knows first base is open. There's 1 down. He is a rookie on deck, and you'd rather start fresh with a younger hitter on deck than with a guy at the plate, Brad Hopp, who has home run power.
And I don't really think he's going to get a fastball in this situation.
And he got him. Looked like the forkball. Foul tip held by Bacco. Big strikeout, and 2 men down.
The split, you know, it gives that fastball look to it, but it kind of sinks. You see it down in the strike zone now. You see the fingers right there split apart. Good call right there. And the ball just sinks down out of the strike zone. doesn't give him an opportunity to get a really, really good pitch right there. Of course, if he walks him in that situation, all he's done is really set himself up for a double play. So no panic in the way he pitches, and that's why he's been so successful.
So 2 down with a runner at third, and here is Troy Tulowitzki, the 22-year-old rookie shortstop. And time called just as Traxel was about to follow through. And a balk has apparently been called, and here comes Todd Helton to the plate and Sam Perlazzo out for an explanation.
It's the same balk that they called in Boston that nobody ever calls, because Traxel, there is no way. I don't blame Sam for getting upset with him right here.
Well, he's just been ejected, and I think what he's saying is, how could a balk be called if time was called? That's what it looked like he was saying by spreading his arms, signaling what an umpire would do. He's talking with Larry Vanover there. How can you call a balk if time was out of play?
No, it's not right, Sam. I can read his lips down there. That's not right. Traxel always gets cuts because he's got that extra little movement in his windup that has cost him one other balk early this year. But it's the same move that he has made. We're going to see it right here. Let's see his hands move right there. That's exactly what they called the balk on. But he does it every single time he throws a pitch with somebody on base, and that's why it is not a balk.
You know, if it is a balk, they should call it every pitch.
They should call it every pitch. You're absolutely right.
Thing, every single pitch he's from the stretch.
And it's really unfair of the umpires to pick a time when it hurts this ball club the most. A runner on third base, 2 outs in a 1-run ball game. That hurts the ball club the most. That's a bad call.
So the skipper will leave, having been ejected. Larry Vanover at first base. I'm not sure who made the call. I saw Randazzo at second base and Vanover at first base put their hands over their head to signify time, and it was Relaford at third base who pointed towards the plate, telling Helton to go score. And there's a base hit up the middle for Tulowitzki, so he's on with 2 men down. 4-2 game now. So Tulowitzki picks up his first base hit, and that allows the tying run to come to the plate with 2 men down. Todd Williams heating up in the Oriole bullpen. He got up after Helton reached base, so he should be close to, if not already being ready to come in if needed. And here is Ryan Spilborghs, the center fielder.
And that's really a tough situation, Jimmy. And you know, you almost have to go out to the mound before the game or to home plate and tell the umpires and all the guys at the NFP, you know, how you're going to see this guy move. Now watch his hands, not right here. Watch him get set right in here. This is what they call a balk. This is not a balk.
Well, and you saw, we now have our answer. It was Larry Vanover, the umpire at first. You saw him in the background there. And here's the question. How does he see what's going on the other side of Steve Traxel's body from first base?
Good point.
I mean, if the balk is his hands came apart or his foot moved, how does he see that from first base?
He doesn't know. There's the movement. Up. Right there. It was before he even started. And you know, this just isn't fair, okay? Not that a whole lot is in baseball, but that just isn't fair because this is the way Steve Traxel has pitched his whole time. And Larry should know this. It is no deception in that move whatsoever. None. To deceive the runner. That's what determines a balk, whether you're trying to deceive the runner. He is not trying to deceive the runner. That's why it is not a balk. And the league really should do something about that.
Well, either Steve Traxel should be told you can't use that hesitation, or the umpire should be told he does it every single pitch, and as a result then it isn't a balk, because if it was a balk then it should be a balk on this next pitch and the next pitch after that.
And we go back to spring training.
After that,
we were in spring training and I saw him go through this motion. I said, you know what, that's a balk. That's a balk. Yes, technically I would say it was a balk, but talking to the umpires, they say if he does it every single time, then it is not a balk because that's his natural movement. But he can't You got to continue that movement to home plate when you come to a complete stop.
Foul back, 2-2. Relaford, who is at third base, he is the crew chief. And Vanover, who is a veteran, he is at first base tonight. The two younger members of this crew, Greg Gibson has the plate and Tony Randazzo at second base. And there's Todd Williams heating up in the Oriole pen. He's been pitching very well as of late.
And I don't blame Sam for getting thrown out of the game for that. It's a ridiculous call. It cost him in Boston when the umpire called a balk there. It cost him here. This is a big run for this ball club. You know, it ties up the ball game at a situation. I just wish Sam had stayed out there for about another half an hour and just ripped every one of them.
Not with thunderstorms in the area, you don't.
No, that's all.
But again, I mean, hey, if it's a balk, it's a balk. No problem. It's in the rule book. But if he does the exact same thing every time, how is it a balk only then? 2-2. Hit towards second base. Brian Roberts plays a tough hop and he gets him. Oh, nicely done by Roberts. That ball was smoked. And Traxel is hot as he comes off the field. Vanover staring him down. Colorado gets a run. Roberts gets them out of it. And it's a 4-2 game. Well, fans, the second edition of Orioles Magazine features homegrown talent Nick Markakis and will be on sale all Orioles home games this season. More on that as we come up. And you see Steve Traxel yelling at Larry Vanover. We read his lips. I've been doing that for 14 years. And he has a right to be upset.
He really does. I don't blame him one bit because they could have said something to him earlier with other men. The Colorado Rockies have had men on base. Nobody ever said a thing to him about the ball because there was no movement in there that was any different from any other pitch that he's thrown. I don't blame him for being upset at this point right there.
Vanover stared him down as he went back to the bench. And Millard gets in the one to right center field. Hopp and Spilborghs, and it's Hopp, the right fielder, making the catch. And as we were saying about Orioles Magazine, the second edition of the magazine features Nick Markakis. The issue features 2 Markakis covers, a regular version, and a special limited run collector's edition cover. The magazine is available for $5 at program and novelty stands at Oriole home games. Yearly subscriptions are also available at Orioles.com. In addition to a profile on Markakis, the edition also includes tips for fans planning their trip to Cooperstown for Cal Ripken's Hall of Fame induction later on this summer, an article on Orioles prospects Brant Irby and Corey Spoon, and in honor of the 15th anniversary of Oriole Park, a feature on the history of the Camden Yards area. Plus, look for current player Q&As and inside information on all of your favorite Orioles that you won't find in any other publication. That is Orioles Magazine. Aubrey Huff batting with 1 out and nobody on. Huff has an RBI and 2 trips tonight. Chopped to second base, waiting on the hop is Matsui. And 2 quick outs for Jeff Francis here in the Orioles 6th. Well, the Orioles have the lead. Let's get a look at our Nissan in-game box score.
Well, there you have the Orioles now. Nick Markakis with the big blow, the 2-run home run, puts them up 4 at that point. Kevin Millard picking up a hit early with a 2-out RBI. The same with Aubrey Huff and everybody else. Melvin Moore mixing in a bunt, and Paul Bacco getting a hit off the glove of the first baseman, Todd Helton.
Melvin Moore takes a curve for a strike. Melvin over 2 on the night, looking to extend his hitting streak to 6 straight. And the Orioles trying to get the opener of this 3-game series. 0-2. A sneaky fast fastball there.
You know, I'm still kind of in shock about that call, about the balk, Jimmy. And Larry Vanover, you know, probably one of my favorite umpires over at first base when I was coaching over there. A guy who talked to you, but, you know, had command of the game. You're pretty confident he's going to give you a good game on the bases and behind home plate. A very, very good umpire, which is what really surprises me, that this call could have been one of those that's going to make such a big difference in this game. And I'd like to get his explanation on that, but of course we're not going to get that.
Moore pops a foul to stay alive. Of course, not only does that make that an earned run against Traxel, what it does is it makes it a 2-run game instead of a 3-run game. So every time Colorado gets a runner on, the tying run comes to the plate. Count holding 1-2 on Mora. And he got him. So Mora down on strike. Strikeout number 5 for Francis. And the Orioles go 3 up, 3 down. We'll head to the 7th. The Birds up by 2. With more flights to more places than ever before, Southwest is taking low fares farther. Visit southwest.com. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. A nice warm night downtown, and Todd Williams comes on to work the 7th inning. So the night is done for Steve Traxel as he goes 6 strong innings, and on this hot night gives way to the bullpen.
Well, I don't really think that the hot night was really the biggest reason why Todd Williams is in there. I got to look and just I'm going to take a guess and say that, you know, watching Traxel pitch against Kansas City and going 9 complete innings, then getting another opportunity to pitch at the end of this road trip and only going 3 innings against the Angels is probably something that that Sam was looking at and saying, you know, don't want to press him too far into some ball games now. Let him get a little bit of a rest after it's a pretty good outing tonight, and let the bullpen tonight take over. They need a little time to throw too.
So the bullpen will be asked to get 9 outs. Orioles lead it 4-2. And Williams' first batter will be the number 9 batter, Yorvit Torrealba, the Colorado catcher. Well, don't forget, the Nationals playing interleague baseball tonight. They're in Minnesota on Masson 2, and it's going on right now. So if you're looking for the Nats, they're over on Masson 2. The Orioles on Masson. Tapper towards the mound. Tough play. Williams will have to hurry, and he got him. Nicely done.
Nice to see Jimmy Todd Williams coming back and pitching as well as he did 2 years ago. He had an outstanding year with the Orioles 2 years ago, and last year came in, had some physical problems. But getting back on top of his game right now, that good sinker, you see the batter right there, he tops that ball. Very, very tough guy to hit with all that sink on his fastball when he's on his game. He makes a pretty good play right here. A barehanded stab, throws to first base in time. Not the easiest play, but a very good play made well.
Todd has not allowed a run over his last 4 appearances, covering 4 2/3 innings. And he gets ahead of Willie Taveras, 0-1. Taveras, a couple of hits on the night. He has a bunt single, also a single to center field. He also has 2 stolen bases. And quickly, 0-2.
You know what is so hard to hit about Todd Williams is he closes his body up so much in his delivery. He really takes his left foot and steps to behind the right-hand hitter and comes over.
Gets a broken bat. Roberts gets him at first. And 2 quick outs here in the 7th. Get a look at our Nissan in-game box score for Colorado.
Well, Colorado, Willie Taveras has had a pretty good night, getting on base, setting the table with a couple of hits, a beautiful bunt single. Kazuo Matsui with a double and a stolen base. He got a jump, pretty good jump. Todd Helton, he's always going to get his hits. He has a double and a run scored. You just saw it a second ago with the balk, and Garrett Atkins, his single, and Tulowitzki, how do you pronounce that? Getting a base hit up the middle.
2 quick outs for Williams in the 7th. And here's Kaz Matsui. He takes a strike. Best pitch in baseball right there. Matsui has been on base twice. Slider misses outside. Line drive caught by Brian Roberts and 2 men down. So it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Todd Williams, and the Rockies are down. The fans enjoying their Friday night at the ballpark. The Birds with a 4-2 lead. Orioles have led throughout, getting 2 in the bottom of the first. Francis still on. Here's Jay Gibbons. Looks at a curve for a strike. Jay's had a tough night against Jeff Francis. He was called out on strikes his first at bat on 3 pitches and then popped to the first baseman Helton in the 4th. He had 2 hits in Seattle on Wednesday, which snapped him out of an 0-for-23 drought.
Jay's had a little trouble, Jim, with keeping that right front shoulder in against all pitchers, not just left-handers, but against the right-handers too. He's been pulling off the ball. Last game in Seattle, he kept his front shoulder in. He got a couple of big hits for the O's, started a couple of real big rallies, a 5-run inning for the O's and a 3-run inning. It just seems to be a matter of consistency with him right now, being able to keep that front shoulder in and drive the ball.
Got the call on the check swing. 3-1 the count on him. Baco and Roberts will follow. Towards right center field. On the run is Hop. Not going to get it. Gets down for a base hit and bounces to the wall. Well, Gibbons stayed in on that one. He rips it for a leadoff double. Gibby 1 out of 3.
This is where the Orioles need to keep Jay Gibbons right now. The way he looked on there, you see that front shoulder, it's going to stay in here even against the left-hander. And he's very good hitting against left-handers, but he gets a pitch now out over the plate, and that's what he hasn't been doing. He's not handling that ball out over the plate because his front shoulder's been so far out. He manages to keep it in that at bat and pick up a big double at this point.
Corey Patterson comes on the pinch run. He'll stay in the game defensively, which he would have done likely anyway in the 8th. So he'll pinch run for Gibbons here in the 7th. Orioles trying to get an insurance run in, have a runner at second and none down.
You'll be looking for Corey Patterson right here to get a good jump and steal third base. If this left-hander doesn't keep an eye on him, it's easier for base runners to steal off the left-hander in this situation. They're just it's a different look whatsoever, but a lot of good base stealers can get jumps off of left-handers better.
Baco shows bunt, takes it outside. Baco does have a sacrifice on the year.
Now you can bet the shortstop will be covering him, keeping him as close as they can to the bag.
Left-hander Tom Martin, right-hander former Oriole Jorge Julio getting loose in the bullpen. Baco fouls off the bunt attempt. Baco upset with himself that he fouled that off. Had an infield hit in the 5th inning on a ground ball off the glove of the diving first baseman Todd Helton. Orioles with 2 in the 1st, 2 in the 5th for their 4. Colorado with single runs in the 5th and 6th.
Just kind of unfortunate, Jimmy, in this situation that we have to have a left-handed hitter up there. That allows the shortstop to shade up the middle a little bit more.
The foul, 1-2.
With a right-hander up there, the shortstop's going to fade more towards the middle of the field to guard against the base hit and the RBI. In this situation, though, they get to shift a little bit.
So now we'll see what strategy the Orioles use. Baco fouling off 2 bunt attempts. He's down in the count 1-2. And the third baseman Atkins now moves back at regular depth at third base. Patterson doesn't go. He showed bunt, takes it high, 2-2. Baco playing in his 26th game on the year. Patterson on as a pinch runner. And with Ramon Hernandez going on the disabled list just before the game tonight, Baco will get the majority of the starts. 2-2 the count. And Francis turns and looks Patterson back. And of course now the crowd getting on the umpires. They're yelling balk. That of course is not a balk. Larry Vanover calling a balk earlier on track, so that fan upset. Hey, it was a balk. 2-2 on Baco. Foul back.
Really a situation right here where Paul's got to look to pull this ball. He's got to get that runner over to third base. They're holding him close at second base. They're not going to give him an opportunity to get a jump and steal the bag. So Paul's really got to do a good job here. If he gets a strike, he's got to pull this ball to the right side of the infield.
Strike 3 call. Call at the knees. Baco thought it was low, and 1 man down in the 7th. So log on to Orioles.com and you can cast your vote for the 2007 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. With the 2007 All-Star online ballot, you can vote up to 25 times for your favorite Orioles. So get on, vote early, vote often for Miguel Tejada, Nick Markakis, Brian Roberts, Ramon Hernandez, and more. Plus, when you vote at Orioles.com, you can also enter to win a VIP trip to the All-Star Game in San Francisco. Get online Orioles.com today and start your voting. Subtle reminder in the Oriole dugout. Strikeout number 6 for Francis. Brian Roberts fouls it back. He has 3 swinging strike threes and 3 called out on strikes. One of those, Brian Roberts, was called out on strikes in the second. Brian is hitless, 0 for 3 tonight.
And even though he is hitless, I still think Brian Roberts is one of the most dangerous hitters in our lineup. I would be real careful how I pitch him in this series of pitches, because it might be one of those situations where you'd be better off just unintentionally walking Brian and try to get the Jay Payton double play if they possibly could. Another tough guy to double up, but still a situation that you got to think about from behind home plate.
Patterson is really bothering Francis, and Brian pops it foul wide of first. Helton is over, has a play, and he has it for the out. 2 men down. Well, Patterson has to hold at second base. Gibbons led off the inning with a double. Patterson pinch running, and he's there with 2 men down now. So Jay Payton will bat.
Well, I guarantee you, Jim, they're out there talking about what they want to do with Jay Payton with first base open and a left-hander coming up. But I don't know if I'd want to pick to Nick Markakis in this situation, but I still think they're going to talk it over and find out just what in the pitcher's mind he's thinking about doing with this hitter.
Walker was getting loose last inning. He's up again. Bradford has joined him. And Martin and Julio in the Colorado pen. Colorado in the 8th has Holiday, Helton, and Atkins coming up. Righty, lefty, righty in that order. So here's Payton. High fly ball left field, playable for Matt Holliday. Backing up near the warning track, and he makes the catch. Well, leadoff double, a man left, will head to the 8th. Francis, a good job. The Birds lead it by 2. Well, Jay Payton moves from center field to left field. Corey Patterson pinch ran for Jay Gibbons, who was in left, and Corey stays in the game. He's in Gibbons' spot. And in center field for defense over the last 2 innings. And Chad Bradford. Rick does come on. He'll face Matt Holliday to lead off here in the 8th. Bradford's having a good year for the Birds.
Well, he's been outstanding, very, very tough and very, very consistent out there on the mat. Guy that Sam can rely on to come in and throw the ball over the plate, and he has just done an outstanding job for the Orioles. Been a big, big part of that bullpen, pitching so well most of the season.
Well, Walker is up behind him. Helton, the lefties on deck. Of course, one thing with Bradford that you get is he generally keeps the ball in the ballpark.
Usually, if you hit Bradford, you usually hit ground balls through the infield. That gives your infield a chance to make plays. If you're getting beat on the ground, there's really nothing you can say about that.
Well, the heart of the Colorado lineup against Bradford in the 8th inning, with Colorado down by 2. Curveball for a strike, 0-1. Well, Bradford certainly gets his share of work. Tied with Sean Camp of Tampa Bay for most appearances. Fouled back, 0-2. Of course, with the problems the Orioles have been having on the back end of the bullpen, in particular with Danny Baez, Bradford and Walker have had their roles adjusted. They're pitching more than they thought and to more batters per appearance than they thought.
Well, you have to. You have to go to these guys. You have to keep experimenting, finding a spot for them to pitch in that'll help the ball club win. And it's a very, very tough situation to try to figure out exactly when he's going to be most effective. You need to get through the 7th inning with him sometimes. But now, with Baez not pitching as well, you've got to use him later in the ball game. And, you know, you may not get an opportunity to use him in the situations that you really would like to use him in the most.
Holiday fouls it off. He's 0 for 3, and he stranded 2 runners in scoring position in the 5th inning. And he flied out to center field, and Bradford gets ahead of him. Last 5 games on the road trip, the Orioles bullpen struggled, losing 3 games, and look at the ERA, 10.45.
Not
the
good.
Last 5 games.
Really is not indicative of how well the bullpen has pitched most of the season.
Tough play here. Bradford throws it over the head of Millar and down the line. So Colorado gets a runner to second base. Another swinging bunt base hit, the second in this game.
And that play right there, Jim, you'd almost want to take charge from behind home plate. A nice little chopper up the first base line. You see Paul Bacco is not running hard after this ball, but really has a better line on it than the pitcher does. He's coming straight to the line, perpendicular like that. Not much room to throw the ball. The catcher in that situation fields that ball. He takes it wide. I know it's going to be a quick play for him. He can take it wide to the inside of the bag and make a much better throw. It's just one of those situations you got to read it. First step out from behind home plate. The catcher's got to read that ball, call him off, and go to first base.
Well, Dave Tremblay out. Sam Perlauzo's been ejected, and with the tying run at the plate, Bradford leaves. Walker's coming on. It's time for you to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game, and here are tonight's candidates: Nick Markakis, Steve Traxel, or Willie Taveras of the Rockies. Text in your vote now to have your voice heard. Text A, B, or C to Oriole 674-653. Markakis with a 2-run home run tonight, and right now that is the difference in the game. And Rick, here is Jamie Walker to come on to face the lefty.
Well, it's a situation here where you know, you're just trying to get a guy now that won't get an opportunity to pull the ball. Well, Helton is a guy who can move the ball around the field pretty good. But this situation, too, you got your situational guy out there, Walker. He's got to come in and pitch in this.
Hit towards second base. He'll advance the base runner. Going to third is Holiday. And 1 away on the ground out. Well, 1 away here in the 8th. Let's head down to Amber.
Be sure to stay tuned to Masson directly after the game for O's Extra. That'll be directly following the game on Masson, and it'll be presented to you by ChevyFirst.com. Tom and Dave will break down all of the night's action. Plus, we'll have reports and interviews from the ballpark as well. And also, you guys want to check out Masson tomorrow for the game, as Rodrigo Lopez will get the start for the Rockies. Back to you guys.
All right, Amber, thank you. And there's a pitch taken for a strike, and the wind is beginning to pick up. We mentioned there are thunderstorms in the area, and all of a sudden the wind just picked up and a whole bunch of napkins started flying all over Camden Yards. Foul back. Garrett Atkins has 1 hit on the night. He has a swinging bunt base hit. By the way, on the ball hit by Holiday, Jim Henneman ruled a straight error. Well, in Henneman's mind, a good throw gets the runner, even though it was a tough throw going over the runner to try to get it to Millar. So no hit for Holiday. He's on a straight error, but he's at third with 1 down now. See, the flags are beginning to fly on the flag court. Popped up, shallow right. Runner at third will tag. Markakis coming in on it. Markakis makes the throw and the runner holds. Holliday came down the line a couple of steps, and what a job by Walker to get that pop up, because not only did he get an easy out, he put it in a place on the field that the runner could not try to score. 2 outs.
Good job by Nick catching that ball and just keeping his composure out there and making a good throw, stopping the runner at third base. Right in line with the cutoff man so that the runner knows he can't go.
Well, 2 down, the runner at third, and Brad Hopp will come up. Chris Ray, the Orioles closer, is already getting loose. And there's a strike in the inside corner.
You know, Jimmy, here's the situation. You see Melvin Moore down at third base. He's got to play the line because he's the tighter, but I don't know if I would be playing him that far back, because so many times in this field you get those swinging bunts. He won't have a chance to make a play. And he's a good enough third baseman where he can play in a couple more steps if he wants to.
Hopp getting the call on the check swing, so a ball and a strike. There's the Oriole bench. That's Sammy Mejias. He's in charge of the outfielders positioning. And Juan Samuel takes care of the infielders. Dave Tremblay, who is the bench coach tonight, managing in Sam Perlazzo's absence. Sam was here for the start of the game. He was ejected when a balk was called on Steve Traxel in the 6th inning. And Tremblay has taken over. And time requested at the plate as another wind gust comes up. The wind gusting is one thing, the white napkins floating around is another. And now the flags change direction. Pitch is high, 2-2 on Brad Hopp. And it's low, ball 3, so he couldn't get in the chase.
Pretty good patience on his part. A lot of hitters in 2 strikes in that situation would have swung at that ball.
Troy Tulowitzki is on deck. He is a right-handed batter. And he walked the ball 4. So 2 on with 2 down. That allows the go-ahead run to come to the plate. Holliday is on at third, and now at first is Brad Hopp. And here comes Dave Tremblay. And we're going to get a pitching change, and Chris Ray will come on for what would be a 4-out save if he can do it. So Walker will leave. Ray comes on. It's a 4-2 game. Well, back here at Oriole Park, bottom of the 8th. Don't forget, the Nationals are playing at Minnesota. They're on Masson 2. And following O's Extra here on Masson with Tom Davis and Dave Johnson in the studio, we'll give you bonus coverage of the Nats playing at the Metrodome against the Twins here on Masson. And here is Chris Ray on for a 4-out save. You don't mind bringing on your closer. However, Rick, this is a dangerous spot because lately Chris has been susceptible to the long ball, and the go-ahead run is at the plate.
Well, mostly because he hasn't really been making the kind of pitches that he usually makes in these situations. He's going through a little stretch now where his rhythm, his timing, he's been very, very fast and very, very violent, aggressive delivery. It's been up in the strike zone, and that's what costs Chris Ray. When he's down in the strike zone, he's unhittable. He's got a lot of sink to his ball, and the thing is to slow his body down, let his arm get out in front.
Strike 1. Here's a Tesco fact. Troy Tulowitzki leads all National League rookies with 26 RBIs. He made it to the big leagues very fast. He was drafted in 2005, just 2 years ago, out of Long Beach State. He played an A ball that summer after signing last year. Spent most of the season in Double-A playing at Tulsa. And then he got into 25 games late for Colorado. And here he is, the everyday shortstop now for the Rockies at the age of 22.
Now, I like what I've seen so far in the first 2 pitches. He's keeping his front shoulder down, slowing down enough to keep the ball down in the strike zone. Just mix it up a little bit now, Chris. And maybe throw your breaking ball in this situation. Get ahead and put another thought in the hitter's mind of what he might get. And it'll keep him off the fastball for you.
Falls behind 2-1. There's a little bend on that one.
That's
2-2.
the one right there we're talking about. Now the hitter with 2 strikes on him knows that he might not get that straight fastball. And that's one reason I think Chris Ray's been getting hit, is he just gets too fastball happy. Even if he's behind or ahead in the count, it's all fastball, 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 and really gives an advantage to good hitters.
Check swing, and he fouled it off. Tulowitzki hanging in there. He played in just 126 minor league games before he made his major league debut, and then went out and won the job for this season.
That's pretty impressive.
22 years old, out of Long Beach State. A little low, ball 3. This will allow Brad Hopp at first base to get a head start.
No reason for me right here to come back with the fastball at all. I'm calling the breaking ball. Even if I walk him, I'm still in a situation where I'm going to lose the ball game. I'm just going to.
And he goes fastball and he misses, so he walks him, and now the bases are loaded and the tying runs are in scoring position.
I didn't agree with the pitch right there, and I don't mind saying it, because when you lose a feel, the pitcher loses a feel for his fastball, you know you're not going to get a good one. If it's one in the strike zone, it's probably going to be up in the strike zone. In that situation, I liked his breaking ball better. I probably would have gone with the breaking ball.
Well, now he'll face Ryan Spilborghs, the center fielder for Colorado, in a tighter spot. The bases are loaded. The tying runs are in scoring position. The go-ahead run is at first base. Check swing. Field to first. He went too far, says Larry Vanover. Nothing in 1.
Larry's having a bad night. Everybody's yelling at him.
Somebody from the Colorado
Clint Hurdle, he's yelling at him. He just got thrown out.
So both managers ejected in the game by the same umpire, Larry Vanover. Now Hurdle's going to go out and get his money's worth since he's been ejected.
And Larry's going to make him walk the whole distance. He's not going to meet him halfway. You see right here the check swing. Definitely a swing right here, way past the plane of front of home plate. The planes. No reason to argue this whatsoever. 99.9% of the times that replay will show you that he swung at the ball.
So Hurdle telling Larry Vanover what he thinks about that check swing call. I'm not sure how Hurdle can be that definitive, because he was behind the hitter. If it was a left-handed hitter, he would have had a better view and you could understand it. But a right-handed batter, his back is to him. Larry Vanover's having a tough night.
No.
And Clint Hurdle is furious.
Now, I just don't know why he's turning his back on him at this point. Go ahead and get in his face. You know, maybe a little bit of that slobbering that goes on when you're up close and intimate like that.
And, you know, let's not forget, I mean, they have scouting reports. They know Chris Ray's been struggling. And what he's doing here is he's making Chris Ray wait on the mound and possibly get a little tight and not be as effective with his pitches. Ray has been throwing pitches to Baca while the argument's going on. But
that really gave him more of an opportunity to find that release point on his fastball again, to get a few pitches out there now and get that fastball down in the strike zone.
So there goes Clint.
I'm kind of glad.
Well, we'll see. But the strategy was to stay out there for a while and make Chris Ray wait out there on the mound. So both managers ejected in the same game by the first base umpire, Larry Vanover. Nothing in 1 is the count on Spilborghs, with the bases loaded and 2 down. Orioles holding on to a 4-2 lead. And And there's a strike. Looked like a little bit of a bend on that one.
Yes,
from here,
there's
and
an
it's nothing in
off-speed
two.
pitch. A little bit of a split finger right there.
So now nothing in two, and a hitter at the plate who will be defensive. Down and away, wouldn't chase.
98-mile-an-hour fastball just off the outside corner. Show him that pitch right there. Come back with the breaking ball, and you can go sit down. Keep it down.
Just outside, 2-2. Wow. You wonder how a hitter could let a pitch like that go by. It's very close. See, the bases loaded. Holiday's at third, Hoff at second, Tulowitzki at first. And he got him. Gets a fastball by him. Bases stay loaded. The Orioles hold on to a 4-2 lead. Bottom of the eighth at Oriole Park. 22,375 the attendance tonight. Seeing a good game. The Orioles lead at 4-2. They're 3 outs away from getting a win in the opener of this 3-game series and 9-game homestand. Interesting night. Both managers have been ejected by Larry Vanover, the first base umpire, Sam Perlazzo, for arguing a balk call against Steve Traxel. And the manager of the Colorado Rockies, Clint Hurdle, for arguing a check swing call. Fans, don't forget Wednesday, the Orioles and the Nationals square off Interleague Baseball here at the ballpark at 7:05. At the first 20,000 fans aged 15 and over receive a replica Orioles cap courtesy of DAP. Tickets start as low as $9 to order. Call the Birds at 888-848-BIRD. Get online, Orioles.com. Come on out to Camden Yards and support your O's. New pitcher on for Colorado as we head to the eighth. Jeff Francis goes 7 innings, and the left-hander Tom Martin comes on.
Larry's going to have a lot of paperwork after this game, Jim. You got to fill out the reports on those guys, why he threw them out. He's got to mention all of the explicatives, and he's going to have a little time to put in after this one.
And Nick Markakis takes a fastball for a strike. You saw the numbers on Tom Martin. His 15th game. 3.55 ERA. And there's another strike. So 2 quick strikes on Markakis. Nick's had a good night. Couple of hits. His 17th multi-hit game. 2-run home run. Scored a couple of runs.
So far, the difference in this ball game is that nice hanging slider that he got a hold of up in the strike zone. A nice souvenir way out there in Boog Powellville.
Colorado has Jorge Julio up again in their bullpen. He's a right-hander. Colorado uses a 7-man bullpen. They have 3 lefties and 4 righties. Nick chops it towards second base. Matsui to his left. And Markakis is retired. 1 away in the Oriole eighth. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Baltimore Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles.
And in case you're wondering, that is the same Jorge Julio that used to close for the Baltimore Orioles. Good to see him again. Still hanging in there in the big leagues.
There's Jorge.
There he is.
Wearing the familiar number 50. There's Miguel Tejada. Breaking ball for a strike.
I can just remember the many times when I first came back with the Orioles and my opportunity to coach with them, looking at that speedometer up there, the miles per hour, hitting 100 miles an hour with Jorge Julio. 100.
He was part of the trade to the New York Mets for Chris Benson. The other player in that trade was John Mayne, who has worked out very nicely for the Mets.
Oh, yeah. Let's not talk about that.
Good eye. Ball 2, 2-1 on Miguel Tejada. Miggy's got a 6-game hitting streak on the line. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Each team has 7 hits. Orioles lead it 4-2. All 4 of the Orioles runs in this game were driven in after 2 men out. 2 RBI singles in the first, back-to-back by Millar and Huff. And then the 2-run home run by Markakis in the 5th. That came with 2 men down.
Well, it seems now, Jim, that the Orioles are doing better with 2 outs than they are doing with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. Jay Gibbons started the inning off with a double. Patterson pinch ran. Baco, Roberts, Payton all came up. Nobody drove him in. Nobody even got him over. The little parts of the game that catch up with you later on. You kind of wish right now that we could have got him over, got him in, and 5-2 would be a little bit better.
Tejada's run the count full, 3-2 with Millar on deck. Hanging breaking ball, and he rips it foul. There's Nick Markakis on the bench. 9th home run tonight. He leads the Orioles with 39 RBIs. And Kevin Millar waiting on deck.
Giving Miggy some hitting tips over there. You know, look for the ball out over the plate. He's
There's Chris Ray, who got the final out of the 8th. He'll look to get 3 outs in the 9th to earn the save. Full count on Tejada. Bases empty, 1 down. High fly ball to right. Playable for Brad Hopp. And he has it for the out. 2 men down. Let's find out who the fans voted the AT&T player of the game. And Nick Markakis, a runaway. And the one Colorado Rocky fan watching voted for Willie Taveras. Steve Traxel 16%, but Markakis with a 2-run home run, the difference of the game 83%.
Hey, Trax had another good night. You know, they call that a quality outing.
And he looks the same regardless. If he's doing well, if he's struggling. Kevin Millar to right center field. Pop calls again. Has it for the out. 3 up, 3 down. We're coming back for the 9th. Orioles lead it 4-2. Look at our Geico highlights.
Ed Francis going 7 pretty decent innings, giving up 4 runs. The Orioles playing another good game against a left-hander. Traxel 6 good innings, only 2 earned runs, 5 Ks. Markakis with a big 2-run home run puts the Orioles up 2, and that's where it stands right now.
Yorvit Torrealba with a home run for one of the Colorado runs, but the big blow, Markakis hitting it out. And Chris Ray came on. He got the final out of the 8th on a strikeout, stranding the bases loaded. He's on for the 9th, looking for a 4-out save, his 13th. 9-1-2 coming up. Here's Yorvit Torrealba, and it's low, ball 1. Chris Gomez now at first base for defense, replacing Kevin Millar at first. Ball 2. Torrealba's job, get on any way you can. Hit the tying run to the plate and get closer to the heart of the order. 3-0.
Boy, so often I've heard Leo Mazzoni talk to all of the pitchers about strike one, strike one, strike one. And that's one of the areas that Chris Ray's really gotten away from late, and why he's struggling is he's not getting ahead of hitters early enough in the count.
Strike 2, so 3-0 to a full count. Torrealba, he'll take a walk. 5 pitches, has not swung the bat. Bounce to first, right to Gomez, 1 away in the 9th. Here's a look at our Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield K's for kids in the game tonight.
But tonight, there you go, the K's, Care First K's, strikeouts tonight, 6. 4 of them, or 5 of them, came from Steve Traxel, and 1 from, I think, Walker.
Whenever an Orioles pitcher records a strikeout this season, CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield will make a $25 donation to the YMCA of Central Maryland's Y Healthy Kids program. Congratulations to CareFirst Blue Cross Blue Shield for the K's for Kids program. One away in the Colorado ninth inning. And there's a strike to Willie Taveras. Little bend on that one, broke away from the swing, and it's 0-2.
Nice to see him start mixing those pitches a little bit, not giving that hitter a chance to see the same pitch back to back so many times.
Of course, the key in this inning is to try your best to get 3 up, 3 down, because Holiday is 4th, and obviously if he gets up in this inning, at a minimum he comes up as the tying run. Off the end of the bat, Patterson has a play. Corey's there. And 2 men down. Well, let's get a look at our low jack caught stealing. None tonight. In fact, 3 stolen bases on the night in the game. Orioles fans enter the low jack caught stealing sweepstakes for your chance to win a 2008 spring training trip and other exciting prizes. Visit Orioles.com/lowjack to enter to win. LowJack, the only stolen vehicle recovery system operated by the police. Matsui takes a strike. And all of a sudden, Reyes found the zone after going 3-0 to Torrealba to begin the inning. Bounce towards first. That is a foul ball, but Matsui's down in the count, 0-2.
He really gets in that groove where he starts throwing a lot of strikes, and he works awfully fast out there. He gives nobody any time to think about what they might see at all. So that's a good thing when you're in a nice groove.
Well, 0-2 the count. Check swing, and it's low. Ball and 2 strikes. Matsui tonight has been on base twice. He has one of the 3 steals in this game. 31-year-old out of Japan. Now back just got a piece. One and 2 the count. And chop foul. We've seen a little bit of everything in this game. We've seen a couple of swinging bunts, base runners reaching, a couple of bunt singles, a couple of managers ejected by the same umpire. 1-2 on Matsui. And he got him. And Ray gets the 4-out save, and the Orioles get the opener. Birds got 2 in the first, led throughout, and the Orioles win it 4-2. Markakis a 2-run home run. Ray earns the save his 13th. We're coming back to Camden Yards to wrap it up following the Orioles win. To get the homestand off to a good start. Big home run by Nick Markakis, his 9th on the year. Amber is standing by.
Well, was it important to come home, Nick, and get this long homestand started on the right note for this team?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we just got off a long road trip. You know, nothing feels better than come home and take the first one.
You said on that home run you were thinking fastball, but what was he throwing at you?
You know, approach up there every time, you know, you sit on fastball and, you know, you adjust off speed. And, you know, he left it up a little bit and, you know, pretty good swing on it.
Was that a balk with Steve Traxel?
You know, it's hard to tell from out there. And,
tough losing your manager, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, stuff like that happens.
All right, they pulled out the win despite Sam Perlazzo not on the bench. Thanks for being here with us.
All right, thanks, Amber.
All right, let's go back to you guys.
All right, Amber, thank you very much. And don't forget, join us again tomorrow. O's and Rockies play Game 2 of the 3-game set. Jeremy Guthrie against former Bird Rodrigo Lopez. Our coverage on Masson begins at 6:30 with O's Extra, presented by Chrysler Jeep Dodge, followed by game coverage at 7. For Rick Dempsey and Amber Theo-Harris, Jim Hunter saying so long from Memorial Park. The Birds win at 4-2. Tonight's telecast has been a presentation of the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network. Now we'll send you back to the studios. O's Extra, presented by ChevyFirst.com. Tom Davis and Dave Johnson.